So hello everyone, welcome to YourPedia Education. Today we are here at IIT Ropar. We got an opportunity to interact with the Dr. Sudarshan, Head of Department in Computer Science Engineering. So hello Professor.
Hi.
So thank you for taking out time to meet with us today. It's an honor to have you here with us.
Pleasure.
So could you please start introducing yourself?
So I'm Sudarshan. I finished my PhD from the Indian Institute of Science, and after which I spent a year working as a postdoctoral fellow. And after that, I joined here.
Right.
It has been a 10-year stay here for me too. And ever since I joined, I actually joined for a short duration of time. I like the place, I like people here, and I thought, let me, extend my stay. Extension has come to 10 years right now.
So your transition was like, transition happened from BTech to MTech, from South to North totally.
Absolutely, yes.
So are you enjoying this transition?
Absolutely, completely.
Right. So you are here head of department in computer science engineering. So what all department we have in the computer science engineering if we talk about the post-graduation point of view?
So we have, as a discipline, we have computer science.
Right.
But predominantly we have at the PG level MTech in CSC,
right,
and MTech in AI,
right,
which was recently started. First we started off with CSC and then we started off with AI. So we basically have two. Maybe we'll branch out more.
Okay. So if you talk about the undergrad level then?
Undergrad, as of now we have CSC.
Okay.
But this August onwards we are starting with BTech in AI.
Right.
So which will be AI specific program.
So we have seen the trend, or we can say it is basically fundamentals of any of the IITs. Computer science branch is considered as a branch which decides the reputation of that institutions. And everyone is going after the computer science engineering. Why this is so? Yeah,
that's a good question. So somehow there has been ups and downs of several disciplines.
Right.
For a moment there was automobile engineering back in the 60s. And then aeronautical engineering, electronics, and then computer science came. People said this will stay for another 5 years like anything else, but somehow it has stayed for 30-40 years. That's mainly for two reasons. One is because there's rampant computerization of every single thing that we come across in our day-to-day lives. For instance, you go to supermarket, there's a computer there. You use your mobile phone, it's all computing based. Second reason is that India somehow became a powerhouse of software outsourcing.
Right.
Where you see, the whole of, if you see Gurgaon, Bangalore, Hyderabad, lot of these software companies there involve taking outsourced work and getting it done here, and then exporting that back to the US, also popularly called the software exports. And a good amount of our GDP depends on the software exports.
Right.
And the manpower required for that is being supplied by engineering colleges. Not only computer science, in fact, electronics, mechanical, civil, good chunk of them enter IT field. That's the reason it's about the job boom.
Yeah, recently we have seen that, along with the computer science, people are preferring artificial intelligence, machine learning, also somewhere related to computer science also, but they are parallelly standing up in parallel to computer science engineering. So this is my personal question, and I also feel this like, so why in India, whenever the transition of technology happen, it happened like a wave, suddenly it go up, then disrupt, then go down. So what is your take on this?
But this disruption, the wave of disruption has happened in AI especially in the world. And it is popularly called the AI winter, where people promise that we'll create a robot that can do surgery and all that, and finally they get the funding and they realize that it's not even close to surgery, let alone surgery. It cannot even recommend what should be the treatment for a patient, and then it goes down. Again it comes up, it goes down. So lately it has come up, and for some reason it has gone up and gone up further. Mainly because there was an era where we had devices. There was an era where we had usage of these devices. And again came an era where these devices generated a lot of data. Whole lot of data. For instance, assume you walk into a TV showroom, and you think a salesperson there can figure out whether you will buy the TV or not? He does. He knows by your body language whether you will buy a TV or not. Apart from him, even a CCTV is kept there, where it records the facial expressions of a customer and whether this customer appears like he will buy or not. At a human level, you can judge whether this person will buy a television or not, but at a machine level, it can not only judge whether the person will buy or not, it will even judge what money he will be able to afford, what kind of a TV he can buy. Why? Because in the past 5-10 years, you have recorded so many videos. and you have seen what the customer has bought.
Right.
You map this to that. You will realize a new customer coming. You know, this fellow will buy a television worth 15,000, or this fellow will buy worth 1 lakh. But if you nudge him, he will use his credit card and buy a 2.5 lakh worth television. So with so much of data collected, they are able to figure out whether the person will be able to afford the kind of TV that we can sell, and the salesman can take him to that particular place. So the idea is a lot of data well collected, like your Facebook, Instagram, and all that. They work based on data collection only. They look at what kind of data is being collected from a person like you, and what kind of ads will sell for you. You watch television, there will be an ad there. You have no clue whether that ad is of any relevance to you. If there is Johnson & Johnson baby powder for me, I don't have a young child at home. It's irrelevant for me. If it's a car advertisement, maybe it's relevant for a bachelor, not otherwise. Based on my browsing, it knows whether I'm a bachelor or a married man or a grand old person who would be interested in a wheelchair or a Johnson & Johnson powder or whatever. You can customize your ads. And that's the reason why data which is being accumulated is being a gold mine, because using that data, you can make money.
And this is the basically main reason why traditional modes of business have been disrupted, right?
Correct. No, to answer your question in a nutshell, the reason why there is so much of boom is because there is a lot of data, and with lot of data, a lot can happen.
So my question here is that, why we can't anticipate such transition? Why the things happen in a row? When it happen, they happen in a row.
I think here I'll take a very personal, I'll give you my personal opinion. Some of us humans, I don't think we have the intelligence to predict what's going to happen in the next 1 year. If that were to be the case, we would time the stock market, we would know what's going to go up, all of us will invest, all of us will become rich. So humans do not have that ability probably to see what is coming next. Somehow this is called serendipity. If you see, how was cooking invented? There's a folklore story that there was fire accident, and in the house there was a pig that died and it got cooked, and a man came and saw that it tasted better when it was cooked, and that's how cooking was born. And in fact, microwave was invented, rather discovered, when two kids were playing with laser in the lab, and the laser hit the pocket and the chocolate melted. It was accident. That is how microwave was invented. Look at any invention, it's all accidental. Nobody expected that this is going to come. Right? So for instance, the mobile phone technology, the lens technology, the camera technology, image compression technology, it's all very, very recent. Simply because mobile phones became a revolutionary idea.
So my question is, next succession to this. Today we are talking about the AI. Tomorrow we may talk about the Pro AI. Then we may talk about the Pro Max AI. So how basically computer science department of IIT Ropar is mentally preparing the student, be it by academic curriculum wise, or be it how you are nurturing the innovation and fostering the hands-on learning environment among them?
Good question. So in a typical IIT, Asmo can vouch on this. This probably is one of those top class educational institutes where faculty is given a lot of freedom. By freedom we mean, you go to any university, someone sets the syllabus, someone else teaches it, someone else sets the question paper, and someone else corrects it. If you challenge that valuation, then someone else re-evaluates it. At IIT, all these things are the same. Let's say me as a teacher, I set the syllabus, I teach that syllabus, I set the question paper, I correct the question paper. If I think there is no need to include this part of the syllabus, I can remove it. For instance, I was teaching my social computing course, and boom, in between, COVID happened. And we had a chapter on COVID in that subject. The word COVID we had not heard, but later on we realized that this has something to do with computing. Let's pull that in. Let us teach our kids how to crunch data involving COVID. So that liberty you have at IITs, where you can streamline your syllabus, but then there is this Spider-Man quote which says, with power comes responsibility. Right? If it's left to you to put whatever syllabus you want, you probably will put an easy syllabus and finish it. And that's why recruitments at IITs are very strict. If you're given responsibility, then the person better have that ability to make that responsibility fruitful. Across the country, all these institutes of national importance, they take recruitment very seriously. Once recruited, they give a lot of freedom, and once freedom is given, they custom tailor the syllabus so that what is out in the market or academia or research industry today will be there in the syllabus tomorrow.
Right.
At least the provision is there.
True.
We can modify our syllabus.
True.
Include a new chapter.
Right. And as much I know the IIT system, there is at the same time they are the student centric also. They have the equal flexibility and freedom.
Absolutely.
From the student point of view, they can choose elective as per their aspiration, as per their wish. So proceeding with this question, let us suppose somebody is studying AI as a AI in computer science department. At the same time, in branches like robotics, signal processing, you have some electives where you can go for AI. So what is the basic difference between these two? Because students are in the dilemma. Obviously, as we quoted earlier, to get admission into AI and computer science, it's a tedious task and highly competitive. So sometimes students think to bypass, okay, if I'm not getting into AI and computer science, let's start the journey with the signal processing and robotics. There I might create a profile for AI. What is your take as expert on this? What is the difference in brief from the student point of view?
So the question is, let me rephrase your question just so that I understand it. You're saying AI is being offered across all branches of engineering.
Right.
And
They have
students are
options
confused
of
which,
electives.
should I take up AI from CSE department or should I take up AI from mechanical department?
Right.
So the fact remains that the foundations of any subject, not necessarily AI, the base will be the same. But how you apply the base in different aspects of a subject differs. My suggestion to students is that take up a basic AI course, get your foundation strong, understand what is what, topic wise, implementation wise, and then do a second course in your own department. If possible, do a AI course from CSC related branches.
Right.
And then move to, let's say, robotics or let's say data analytics, predictive analytics. MBA people do what is called predictive analytics. For that, the base is the idea of data sciences.
True.
So finish there and then move on. Otherwise, the field is very confusing. There's so many. See, it's like supermarket. You get confused what to buy. It's all kept for you to take and see. If it's one size fits all, you all will go and take that one size. But there's too many things out there, and students are indeed confused about it. My suggestion to them is start with the first course in AI, ML, data science, or whatever. I mean, get the foundation straight, and then move on to what interests you. Once you finish that, you know exactly where what will be applied.
True.
Right. So for instance, industry 4.0, in the mechanical department, there are so many machines in a manufacturing industry. They all are generating data. Right. For example, your own car, the way you press your clutch, accelerator and apply gear, you put sensors there, it will give you data. Right. What will you do with so much of data? Right. Is the question. Right. For instance, your iPhone, they continuously take inputs on what features you are using, what features you are not using on an iPhone, and remove the features that you are not using. True. Similarly, in a machine, if you put so many buttons, if 90% of the buttons nobody is using, you can simply remove them. Right. So AI is data analytics, data sciences, whatever is important in mechanical engineering too, in civil engineering too. Just that you should know the building blocks of it and then see how it can be applied. True. Literature is there in French, Italian, in Sanskrit, in Hindi and Kannada. The foundations of anything to do with something of literary value is the same. But then it differs in different languages. So AI is like that. So understand the basic constructs of AI and then move on to the application fields. Great.
Professor Sudarshan, can you tell us, our viewer little more about your research area? What is your specific research area here in IIT Ropar?
My research area or our research interest in the department?
Yeah, your research interest in the department.
So typically if you go to any university, that's a research university. Ours is actually a research university come teaching. We will be looking at what is the state of the art today in the domain, and subjects keep changing. And with that change, we will also match our recruitments. For instance, right now, quantum computing is picking up, and we want someone in quantum computing to come here and teach our BTech students, teach our MTech students. It's like the investment you make. You invest thinking about what you want 10 years down the lane. Similarly, as a department, we'll invest in a quantum computing person or a security person to see maybe this will come out as something huge tomorrow. In that connection, we did invest at the level of ML, computer vision. We have some stalwart researchers in the department who are working on medical image analysis. cyber security, game theory,
True.
and we have a researcher, we have a professor who works on ethics in ML. You think there is bias between male and female? I mean, me having bias is different. That is human bias. Do you think even machines are biased? For instance, a man should not get shaving blade and a woman should not get washing powder. That's being heavily biased. Machines cannot do that. They cannot gender differentiate like that. How can it be? How can algorithms be taught to not be biased? Is also a field that's coming up. Very recent field. Go to any university, probably they wouldn't have anyone in that field. But then across all IITs, we understand that this is an upcoming field. We need someone, and recruitment here is rolling. For instance, anyone can apply anytime, and in roughly few months of their application, we can recruit them if they are good. So if we want someone of recent interest, we recruit them. So to answer your question, we ensure that the specifics of, let's say, topics of interest depends on what's happening in the world. So as I said, computer vision, medical image processing, game theory, social computing, image processing in general. You name any topic, we have experts here. In fact, we have a couple of professors working on application of computer science and data sciences in agriculture. We have a huge center here funded by the government.
I guess that
Avadh, exactly. So every department will have representatives there. You'll have two from computer science. You go to mechanical, you'll have a couple of them. Electrical, you'll have a couple of them. All of them are looking at how can electrical engineering be useful in agriculture. So you will find a wide spectrum. We are like 5-star hotel. It's like, it's not, we don't just serve idli, vada, paratha. You name it. If South Korean dish, we have it. Italian, we have it. So you will get a range of subjects. But then, yes, as and always, IITs have had this problem of faculty recruitment, which is at the level of, because of brain drain that we all know. We don't get the right applicants in good numbers. But then from what I saw 15 years ago, right now, things have improved drastically. There were only 4 or 5 IITs, but right now you have 1 IIT per state. You at least have local experts there within the state.
So I would like to take your also insight on this point. You know, according to you, IIT is renowned for the job seeker or job creators?
That's again a very nice question, but little puzzlesome, because I have always wondered, anyone who enters an IIT definitely gets a job. The moment you say I am from IIT, it means you have cleared JEE or GATE, and you get different kind of respect. But then job creation somehow, in my observation, has taken a back seat. But then the good news is that the curve is sort of increasing. People are realizing the importance of being entrepreneurial. One thing is getting a good job. Second thing is creating great jobs for people. IITians can do it, but then so far the brain drain, as you know, any good IITian who graduates generally used to go abroad. Only lately I've been observing in our own institute, they're staying back. They work in Bangalore, Hyderabad, take well-paid jobs, big check jobs. They stay back, do very well, and they realize that there's no point in going abroad. I can be here and do whatever it takes to be happy being in my hometown. And we are also trying to see if we can harness the potential of these people by letting them be part of the alumni, give us feedback on the syllabus, what mistakes we made as teachers when they were studying, which we can correct today. So we have this continuous alumni come every year, and we talk to them, we all interact, we ask them, give us inputs. Now we are equal. You are no more students, we are no more teachers and all that. So we have made our attempts to ensure that it also becomes job creation, but as of now it is not as much as we expect it to be, and every single IIT is working very hard to ensure that we have a placement cell where you get placed. You also have incubation cell. If you want to stay here and then incubate a new idea, you can do that. Some institutes even give money. Sometimes no questions asked money. You take, you don't do anything, we are okay with it. We invested in you, it doesn't, nothing comes out of it. So then good people come and then they take the risk of attempting something that gets close to job creation.
So summing up my part, Professor Sudarshan, as you quoted that there are a lot of advanced research which is being conducted here in the computer science department. What I believe, advanced research must be always complemented by good labs and facilities. So can you put some insights on the labs and facility here in computer science department?
Absolutely. So there are two types of labs that we generally have here. One is course-oriented labs, where to finish a course you need to go to that lab, learn from a professor or a TA or whatever, and then you finish a course.
Right.
Second type is a research lab,
True.
where a professor is conducting her or his share of research and guiding PhD students. Interns keep coming, visitors keep coming, and these research labs are partially funded by the institute and majorly funded from external funding agencies,
Right.
from industries, from government projects
DST,
and things
etc.
like that, DST and things like that, DST, DBT, MIIT and things
Right.
like that. So people who come here, see, to get that funding, the professor has to be good and should be in the forefront of that area. Once the professor is in the forefront of that area, obviously he gets funding, and that funding helps student to understand and use the state-of-the-art facility.
Right.
And the student gets exposed to the state-of-the-art ideas using those facilities.
True.
That's possible only at a IIT like this.
Right.
And IIT also, these are all sort of background happenings of an IIT, where we are not given a lot of teaching load. If you see, generally we teach 1.5 subjects a semester. So a lot of our time is spent on getting funding, guiding students, creating new courses, offering workshops. Generally, I do not know of a professor in our IIT where they reject a offer to give a seminar. The moment we get an offer to give a seminar, we run out, because IITs are also meant to go outside the compounds of IIT,
Right.
not just stay inside and then serve inside, right? So we take this scientific social responsibility very seriously, where we go out and then help people get the right exposure. It's not just inside the lab that the students get exposure. Those facilities are also given outside. In fact, some of the facilities here are also called the CRP, Common Research Facility, CRF rather, is open for public to come and use. For instance, we have some computing facilities, and very soon we're going to keep it open for public to come and use for some nominal price.
Right.
So IITs are actually meant for everyone around, not just for people who clear JEE and
Right. Okay, so that was my part. Next.
So, Professor, I am here I have some questions behalf of the student community. So, right now, if we talk about the CSC branch students, he is in dilemma that either he can go for CSC branch or the AI branch. So, what's your take on that, sir?
See, generally, I think it's sheer innocence with which a person tries to maximize the possibility of success with admissions only. But then after admitting, you have 4 years. Anything can go right, anything can go wrong, anything can become neutral there. This is exactly like stocks. you think something is doing well today, you invest in it, but after 1 year, you don't know what's going to happen, right? My suggestion to the students who are sort of entering this zone, they must understand that no matter what they take up, there will be an element of computer science and AI in it, no doubt. Someone who's taking up mechanical should not feel bad that he did not get AI branch, because mechanical will have an AI component. Today we see we all use WhatsApp. There's a computation component there. There were courses back then, they would teach MS-DOS, MS Word, and
Yeah, right.
they were easier than WhatsApp and Facebook and Instagram. But there were courses, but right now it has permeated into our sort of handheld devices. So it's inevitable they will be learning CSC or AI. But if you ask this question, which one do they choose? Should they choose? Dilemmatically speaking, I think I have never figured this out as a one answer. I don't even want to say follow your passion, because my passion will be X today, tomorrow it will become Y.
Yes,
The idea is, a good tip to give to students is, look at what you're eligible for, let's say based on your ranking and background, enter that field. But once you enter a bachelor's degree, you have avenues to take up anything that interests you. Let's say in typical IIT like atmosphere, you join electrical department, nothing stops you from doing a civil project. Join civil engineering department. We will not stop you from entering CSE department and interacting with us. In fact, we want people from outside the department to give us fresh ideas on how CSE can be, AI can be applied in other walks of life, right? So I think students should probably try to optimize which branch to take up, which institute to choose. But then after what they have chosen, they should give wholehearted attempt at that, because there is avenues to do whatever they want to do alongside the branch that they have taken up.
And the next question is, sir, students are so confused from where they can learn the interdisciplinary courses like AI, ML for a non-CSE background students. So what is your take on NPTEL courses, sir?
Okay, so I'm going to, give this a humorous note. I feel there was a time when I remember in the 90s, I would walk into a jeans showroom, buy one jeans and come. It used to be light blue jeans. There was only one jeans back then.
Yes.
And slowly black jeans came and shaded jeans came. Torn jeans somehow is in fancy. When you go to a store with 100 varieties of jeans, you get confused.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, right now, there are so many courses out there.
Yeah.
There is a courses supermarket, and students tend to get confused a bit on what to take up and what not. My suggestion is they should do their fundamentals right. NPTEL, MIT OCW, edX, there are so many portals out there, especially our own Desi NPTEL. I would any day prefer as a student to watch from NPTEL, because NPTEL is not watered down version of any course. It
Yes,
is the course
exactly.
as it is that is taught in the classroom. Sometimes you see the professors teaching in the classroom being recorded and telecast as
Yes,
NPTEL videos. So is this MIT OCW also. In the classroom, the professor will be facing students, and then so it is not any toned down version of the course. My strong suggestion is get your basics right from your college. As you climb up the electives level, maybe in your third year of your BTech or in the higher semesters of your MTech, take up some NPTEL courses of your choice if that is not offered in your college. I myself offer 3 to 4 NPTEL courses every semester.
Yes.
So we offer what is called the joy of computing using Python, number 1. Number 2, discrete mathematics. And number 3, social networks. I'm also offering, I'm rerunning what is called deep learning, which was actually offered by IIT Madras professor, but we are rerunning for like 4 or 5 years now. It's going on, all these courses are going on very well. It feels very good to see students in the nook corners of India saying, sir, we benefited from your lectures. We even often see them being interviewed by NPTEL people, and they come out and then say, this is as good as a classroom. We have benefited more than a classroom, because in classrooms you cannot rewind the video and then see it multiple times. So NPTEL has been a huge gift for India, and I think it should enter the Guinness Book of World Records, because the number of courses and exact IIT structure going to every single doorsteps of India is no joke. Whatever team that's working there, I think 3 cheers to them.
And next question is, sir, after completion of the NPTEL courses, how they can implement those learnings, sir? Is there any internship process or the project work a student can enter into IIT Ropar, and what is the procedure for that, sir?
Good. So somehow I don't know why NPTEL, despite making their best attempts to help students, it has not achieved the reach that it's supposed to achieve, because every single course that you take up in NPTEL,
Yes.
you can do the following. You can take up an NPTEL course, learn, and that's it. Option 1. Option 2 is take up an NPTEL course, give an exam at the end,
Yes, sir.
get a certificate. If you get more than some 80% or something, there's some threshold, you are allowed to do internship with a IIT professor.
Okay.
For instance, in my own course, you can walk in, you can talk to some of the interns here.
Yes.
They have all seen me on the screen. They did very well in the exam, and then they wrote to me, and NPTEL gives them fellowship to come and do internship here.
Oh, that's great.
NPTEL gives them money for travel and stay, and we help them with accommodation. So I don't know who says India is not full of opportunities. It's opportunities overflowing. Just that we should make the best use of it. So NPTEL has this option of giving fellowship to students who secure very good marks, and the student can be from any nook corner of the country, any college, it doesn't matter. He gets a certificate. The certificate is marks is beyond a threshold. He gets to come here and then visit us, stay here for 1 month or 2, and then work with us.
That's great, sir.
Okay, sir. So, on the behalf of students, I have one question. That is, CSE department offers MTech as well as MSR program. So, what is the basic difference between them?
So, IIT Ropar as a whole offers MSc, MTech, MS, right? MSc is for science branches where after BSc you have MSc. It's 2 years MSc. MTech is mainly after BTech, 2 years. MTech mein you should do some 8 to 10 courses followed by a project. In MS, it's more of a project, less of coursework. MTech is more of coursework, less of project. MS, I at least see it, it's my personal opinion. In my observation, MS is like half PhD.
It means those students who are interested for PhD to pursue their
Someone who wants a
current
flavor
PhD.
of research.
Yes.
So they don't want to do a lot of coursework and they want to see how they can create something new. MS is a good option for them.
Okay, sir. So we have a lot of discussion on AI. So I have one more question. So other than CSE department, like mechanical engineering or electrical engineering students, they are very worried about how I learn AI and how implement these AI concepts on my field. So this is a very big question. So how they can cope up with this?
See, I think, yeah, so students generally panic about if someone is talking about AI, someone want to learn it and then use it. I feel in this connection, it should be more of a love marriage than arranged marriage. You know what I mean? We should not force a subject to be, a student should not see the importance of a subject. As he studies more and more, he will realize the need for a subject. Today, let's say, any person working on literature understands the importance of ChatGPT. ChatGPT is that web application where you ask any question, it gives you the answer. Any lawyer realizes that without ChatGPT, he probably cannot do as well as he would if he uses it, right? Now, students should sort of wake up and then realize that if there is a need, they should open their eyes and go and embrace it with wide hands. Otherwise, not worry so much about, oh my God, I have studied so many courses, I have not done anything on AI. Should I also do something at that level? I think no job, no company that offers a job expects students to be well trained. It's practically impossible, right? What they expect is the person trainable. I want a fit person to come and join my sports club, not a person who already knows how to play hockey. As a kid, he may not know how to play hockey, but I want a person with a good stamina and appetite to learn, right? Most of these job-seeking organizations, including simple PhD interviews, let's say, we don't expect people to come very well prepared there. We want to see how can we prepare them. Do they have open mind? In fact, sometimes it's easier for us to train a person or give a job to a person. I'm sure organizations are the same thing to say to a person who doesn't know anything. His vessel is empty and we can fill it very quickly. Than him or her coming with something that is there in the vessel already, that we should make him unlearn that before we fill in some stuff. So students should actually not worry so much about these things, and regular counseling with their teachers, with their mentors really helps. Not to panic, not to succumb to peer pressure, and they have to keep their eyes and ears and minds wide open. Not to force themselves to get into something. It should happen organically and naturally.
So, sir, my next question is basically we see many IITs are coming with the undergrad research programs. So, do IIT Ropar is planning for these kind of courses?
It has been somehow, I don't know whether it has been a mandate of IITs. I'm unaware of it, but then it has been in the sort of genetic material of IITs,
right,
that research is spoken everywhere.
True.
From UG to PG to let's say simple interns who come visit here, we don't train them, we make them do research work.
True.
Idea about knowledge is, one is knowledge creation, knowledge communication, knowledge translation. Creation is what we do in research. Right. Communication is we teach.
Right.
Translation is industry, academia, collaboration. If something comes out here, they create products out of it. Right. All these three are important. It should be done by the same person.
Right.
The person who uses steering should also apply brake.
True.
He should apply, pedal as well, gas as well. So it cannot be different people. It has to be the same person. In UG, research is a predominant component. In fact, many of our UG students, not many, sizable number, they do research, they publish papers. In fact, we have had our students go abroad, present in top conference and then come back. You probably will talk to some faculty members who have guided students who have done really well in their undergrad level, that it has been equivalent to a PhD. In fact, in my own experience, all my PhD students graduated so far have worked with a BTech student. And if I remove the BTech student, I don't think they can come out with the idea that they have come out with.
So ultimately, it's a joint effort.
It's an ecosystem.
Right.
It's like you need both dad, mom, grandfather, grandmother to for a grandchild to have a sort of a overall seasoning of the mind. So what I can give, what a physics teacher can teach, chemistry teacher cannot. So on and so forth. So it's an ecosystem. Definitely.
Right. So as you quoted that, many students have done some great work even at the undergrad levels. So can you share with us some, breakthrough or some of the innovation that have been happened here in the computer science department?
See, generally from top institutes to wherever you go, let's say, one of the inclinations we have is, can we have another Google coming out of IIT? Can we have another, let's say, ChatGPT coming out of IIT? Most of these things are actually one brick laid on a big wall.
Right.
That is being laid foundationally by academics, industry, very slowly, and one person puts a brick there and that brick becomes famous. But we should not forget that there are bricks and cements well plastered over several years. Academics generally works at the incremental level only, at the very foundational level. Close to none of the work from academia has become super hit, unless serendipitously, let's say, Google becomes famous. Mouse was invented in some top institute and it's encashed by an industry. I don't think that should even be a matter to measure a place's worth. But what we do to measure a place's worth is the ideas that we generate, the publications that we have. So any IIT for that matter, in fact, IIT Ropar is top ranked in research. It has been from past several years. We have, our primary goal is research only. Our teaching is focused towards research. Anything that you talk about, let's say funding, teaching, PhD students, any new program, at the end of the day we say, what is the research component that we are going to achieve out of it?
Right.
It is through research only that we get visibility. It's through research only we get to the mic you're using, the cell phone, the camera that you're using. It has all been a huge output of big ecosystem working where academia is a dominant component. You see ChatGPT do its share of revolution. Lot of ideas in ChatGPT are hidden in the dungeons of research papers.
Right.
They wrote the research paper, someone else implemented, someone else encached. But this encashment may not happen at the academia level.
Right.
But then the roots of this encashment is in academia.
Right.
So I may not be able to long answer short, I may not be able to pinpoint at a great revolutionary idea that has come out with our institute or any institute for that matter. Academia is always in the background. It's the mother that nurtures the child which becomes the hero.
Right.
But mother is not in the focus.
I don't know much about computer science scenario, but what is your take on this, that any PhD scholar or researcher who is, looking forward to invest 4 to 5 years in academics, right? So doing some great work in the labs. So what he should prefer, his interest or technology trend?
Okay, so this I'm forced to take it a detour and answer. I'll make it a little longer.
Right.
Maybe I should tell you my own story. When I entered PhD, people said, why are you going to waste 5 years of your time? But then today I realized that from my kindergarten, school, high school, college, then PhD, and then now as a job that I'm pursuing here as a professor, the best years of my life has been PhD. It's an experience. And they say, what do you do out of PhD? You come out as a product of PhD. You are the product. The amount of grilling you undergo, the amount of learning you undergo, the amount of, you are put to a room which is empty and you should find your way out. You are asked to live there and sort of extract water out of stone. It's a very enjoyable process. And it creates the human being out of you, which otherwise is hard to see. I'm not saying non-PhDs are not humans. I'm only saying when you do a PhD, it pushes you to the level that you perform at your best. You understand what it takes to get all your neurons up and firing for several years, and what it takes to create new knowledge, because all these years you have been reading from textbooks. Something that Einstein did, something that Newton did. You also do some small, you put a full stop there, you put a comma there, that's your contribution to the scientific literature. So I wish that PhD students come to academia with this intention of
Right.
enjoying these 5 years and being these good citizens who will expand the horizons of knowledge, than see what can be taken from it. To make it short, most of this academics PhD research is like knowledge philanthropy. Philanthropy, जो हम दान वान करते हैं ना, so they say that when you give, you should not think so much about the returns. You just give because you enjoy giving. Adding to knowledge is also philanthropy. It's like charity. You give knowledge and we get some salary out of it, so that we happily give knowledge. Many PhD students who join in should understand that the joy in itself is doing research and not in the currency that you will convert out of doing research. Probably, I don't know, it's my experience observation. There is not a lot of money in academia. Not a lot of money. We have good money. I feel very rich. Not so much that I can compare myself with a millionaire or a billionaire I know, right? But then I'm sure I'm a lot more happier than let's say 90% of the rich people I have come across in my life. So PhD students, one important tip we all would like to give, in fact any academician would give, is do not worry so much about returns. Do it because you enjoy the process of doing research.
So what initiative are being taken by the computer science department to bridge properly the research of the student who is doing here in the lab for 4 to 5 years during his PhD and the industry demand? So I want to reframe my question. Let us suppose some person is regressively working in the lab and he has some novel finding. So how IIT Ropar is taking initiative to make that at the industry level?
See, generally PhD students output is a PhD thesis,
right?
And the PhD students generally goes to academia,
right?
If I'm not wrong, maybe 8 on 10 go to academia.
Okay.
2 on 10 may go to industry or something.
Right.
And once in a while, whatever you're coming out becomes a product.
True.
Becomes a great product. The moment you see that a product is coming out, IIT Ropar encourages that product to be patented. Maybe if the student wants to incubate, start his own company, we encourage that too. If there is investment that is required, institute can probably invest or ask for investors to sort of come in and then contribute. We have such avenues. In fact, there are such. We have had some PhD students who have incubated too.
Right.
Master students, BTech students incubated.
True.
So that possibilities are there, but generally it's a accident here and there. It's not like a norm that every person who does a PhD comes out with an idea that can be encashed.
True. So there is a misconception among the students, since we are the highly or usually populated country. So dream of the every child or student is to get education in IIT, but unfortunately the scenario is quite competitive. Everybody can not get into IIT system, right? So right now, because of the AI and ML trends, they are learning AI and ML from different open resources. As you quoted earlier, there are thousands of shops open, right? So but what those shops are doing, they are just basically fantasizing the things. See how this recommendation system will work. This is because of AI and all. Unfortunately, the ultimate goal of that learning is missing. Student get fantasized because of that picture which they show. This is a recommendation system, how the AI is going to make your life easier. So they purchase the course, but after that they feel, okay, we're not getting any learning here. So you are an expert here, dynamic personality, you are contributing into this field for so long. So according to you, if any person wants to start learning AI, what should be the basic fundamental? See, everybody can start learning from anywhere else. What should be your mind frame that you are going to prepare and make some technology? What kind of mindset should keep while starting?
See, firstly, there is a problem with the domain, which I think many of us are starting to realize.
Right.
AI is unfortunately not like physics, which is several hundreds of years
Very
old.
true.
With time, you realize how to teach.
Right.
Teachers realize how to write books, how to translate books to classroom lessons.
True.
Somehow AI being a very new field, we have not figured out how to translate the gyan in the book to, let's say, a classroom lecture. But that said, there's a lot of fun in AI. You can take data, crunch, and then show what is what. But on the other level, the way it works involves a lot of mathematics.
Right.
So much of math that you can go on doing math and then get into the ocean of mathematics, and the students will not know where are we heading to. A ball falling from the roof will fall down. You can do a lot of calculus to show that. Or you can throw the ball and show how it falls down with increasing velocity.
Right.
Rather, gathers acceleration as it comes down. Some of these two things should meet, where a theory and practitioner should meet. AI should be taught, in my opinion, by a practicing person from the industry and a theoretician co-handling this course, and then teaching them both the theory part of it and the practice part of it, and not overdoing either of them. Right? That will take some time. But then my tip to students is there are actually many courses out there. They can watch anything. But then imagine you want to learn a car, and the question is, which course should I take up to learn a car? The best way to learn a car is to have a person next to you and then hold the steering and then start the ignition and then go ahead and then make a couple of mistakes and learn, of course, without hitting any tree or pole. You ensure that you go slowly, but then you steadily learn too.
Right.
You cannot be reading and then watching courses. Best way, in my opinion, to learn a subject like is, in general, a lot of data. How do you crunch data? How do you make sense out of it? How do you analyze it? This comes into the broader domain of data sciences. The best way to do that is to actually start off taking some data and then making sense out of it. You have something called Kaggle data sets these days online. You go watch some of these data sets, download them. You even sometimes get the code there, right? Use the code or use ChatGPT to generate code and make sense out of the data that you have. Something as simple as human height and weight being correlated. Someone who's tall weighs more, someone who's short weighs less. It's a simple ML question.
Very true.
Right? They can figure out what is what over population of, for example, if I know your physics, chemistry, English, Hindi marks, can I predict your mathematics marks? Data sets are available on Kaggle.
True.
We can go in. That's the best way to learn than learn it the textbook way. Once you do that, you should come back to textbooks, stay here for some time and then go back there and then do the back and forth visits. That's a good way to learn. Linear way of learning, I don't think is
true. Very true. So it seems there is a lot to look forward to, but it's a wrap up time. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
So your insights have been truly enlightening. I'm sure they will inspire many of our viewers.
The pleasure is mine.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Thank you.